Welcome home. We are WNST. Tassel, Baltimore. Baltimore Positive. We're positively in Lauraville, in Baltimore City. I ain't going to the city no more. I'm here 6 days a week. Come back to the city. It's fantastic. We're in Coco's. We got parrots all over the door. Only nice people allowed in Coco's, which shocks me every time I get in here. There's only one door. It says only nice people allowed. Nice people are here getting the Gold Rush Doubler 7s. We're giving these away. Max Weiss is our defending champion, honorable guest, and the editor-in-chief of Baltimore Magazine. Alan McCallum is the editor-in-chief of me. Has been for 30 years. And
I deny that.
Symphony background, love of baseball. But let's be honest. I mean, you guys are movie people. Alan grew up listening to Max on WBAL. I sort of put him together a couple years ago with Don, and we did movies, and now they're friends. So this is the movie segment of the summer. Go. First things first. You gave her this. Can you speak to what this is here?
Sure. So this is a film by Ava.
It's a Blu-ray.
DuVernay. It's a Blu-ray.
Okay.
They didn't make the 4K apparently. This is a movie called Origin. This is based off of the creation of a book called Caste, which is an examination of race and segregation, subligation of society, of various cultures, and how it happens. But the movie is about the journey the author took in writing the book and the personal losses she had while it happened, while she was writing the book. I think it's a beautiful film. I don't know if it's an award-winning film per se, but there are some really lovely things in the story, and maybe more importantly, the journey is really wonderful. And I bought several copies because I wanted to support it beyond its life in theaters, which didn't last long.
I did that with Dan Roderick's play last year. I bought a bunch of tickets and just took everybody.
Okay.
I, like literally I took 40 people for Christmas. I said, this is our Christmas gift night, crab cake night. I invited everybody out. The Blu-ray part is the interesting part for me. So somebody gives you a Blu-ray, you have a machine that makes this work.
I do.
Okay.
I'm one of the rare people who still has.
Well, that's what I was asking about it, you know?
Anyway, I didn't expect to get a gift, but I appreciate it because I've not seen this film. And I was saying to Alan that some people, maybe even me, had this feeling that this was going to be the kind of film that was more good for you than good. You know, that it was, yes, it's an important film, but am I going to be...
Cinematic masterpiece,
Am I going to be diverted, entertained, or am I just going to be edified by it? That's my question.
It's not a movie that makes you want to jump up and down and do a dance, but it's moving. And it's certainly educational and some impact. It's funny, after seeing The Zone of Interest, and seeing this is not like The Zone of Interest, but,
okay,
but after seeing it and then seeing an examination of how these things happen, it was an interesting.
John Bernthal in it, who did one of the best Baltimore accents a non-Baltimorean has ever.
Danny DeVito tried. It didn't really work.
Yeah, usually they sound terrible.
He was trying to say egg.
Yeah,
I was working on that.
I mean, Bernthal's from Philly, so he comes close. He comes by it honestly.
That's different, though. I always hear Philly, I hear Pittsburgh, I hear Baltimore. You can't hide from me.
No, right, no. Bernthal, he's just a very talented
I'm like
actor.
the My Fair Lady. You know, I can tell Cockney from, whatever.
But we're coming out of the dead fit period in of the year for film. So January and February are traditionally the dump months, right? So you don't get high quality films a lot. This came out in February, I guess probably because they figured nobody was going to see it, and they were right. But I think Dune was probably the first high quality, big money making movie that came out in March of this year. They got pushed back because of the strike. It was supposed to launch, I think, November, December of last year. And then you've seen over the last 6 weeks the summer movies start to come out, and not a lot of them have hit the way that the industry wants. But with the Bad Boys for Life, I guess, just had a big box office this past weekend, right?
But Fury, Furiosa did not do very well. The Fall Guy did not do very well. And these are two good movies.
Well, this is what I'm going to ask you. So I feel like if I had half a gummy, I could sit back and just pretend you're Siskel and Ebert in the modern era. You know, I would just say for the industry and for people like me,
half a gummy is all it would take.
Yeah.
Am I Siskel or am I Ebert?
I'm trying to figure that out. That's exactly what I'm.
Would you write Valley of the Dolls?
No, I guess you're Ebert.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, in that way, educate me as to the industry. I mean, at large, we got baseball fans out here. I don't go to the movies a lot. I'm on the periphery of it because of Oscars, and you watch television, and I know who stars are. And I kidded you about Glenn Powell, although I've never seen Glenn Powell in a movie. I spent more time with him on my
see him
show
right now because
he's in a big show, right? Big movie right now.
It just dropped over the weekend on Netflix.
Hitman.
My wife said he's going to be like a huge star, right?
You know, it's so funny. If you read my review, I talk about this. It seemed like they were trying really hard to make him happen. And it was like, stop trying to make this dude happen. Like, let it happen organically. Well, I think with Hitman, it's happening organically now because he's so good in it.
Yeah,
and it's
it really
like, I get it. And
is that like when Tom Hanks went from being like the bosom buddy guy to being like the guy? Like sort of like that?
No,
Getting taken seriously after you have not.
I think
Ryan Reynolds. I mean, look at him.
See, I don't like Ryan Reynolds. That's so funny you mentioned him. I love Tom Hanks, by the way. Amazing. I think Tom Hanks crafted his own career in the most amazing way. You know, going from TV to then doing movies like Splash and, you know, A League of Their Own and Big, and then getting into like more serious films like Saving Private Ryan. I mean, he just really invented his own career.
Clooney did a lot of the same.
Yeah, maybe following in his footsteps a
yeah.
little bit. But anyway, Hitman is on Netflix. Now, on the one hand, it's sad because this is the kind of film that used to play in theaters.
I was going to ask you about that because
Yeah.
there's a lot of things. You're talking about something on Netflix. That seems so unmaxed to me. Like, if it doesn't come to a screen in a theater with popcorn, it's not really a film,
Well,
right?
look, this is
way.
Richard Linklater, the director, the great director who did Dazed and Confused, who did Boyhood.
Who did the Before?
The School of Rock, right. He did all the Before Sunrise movies.
Sunset, Midnight.
I mean, School
This
of
is where
Rock.
the industry is, right?
So this is a director who I love and admire.
I'll keep you on mic. That's all right. Keep going. Quit fidgeting.
So yeah, I'm always fidgeting. It's a shame that the film did not play in theaters. On the other hand, interestingly, I think it's getting more of an audience on Netflix. I think that more people are seeing it, discovering this film, which is funny and sexy and clever and extremely entertaining. I think if it had played in theaters, it would have bombed. So
what makes that happen, though? Hollywood knows this. The people that spend the money on this,
they don't know. They don't know what they're doing.
They're trying to figure
that's
it
why
out.
I'm asking.
They're trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Look, I mean, COVID sped this up. I mean, we were already moving to an on-demand. Look, it costs for a family of four. It would cost what, $150 just for the tickets? Then you're talking about parking, popcorn, soda.
Wait,
it's $250.
It's not that expensive. How expensive do you think movie tickets
If
are?
You're a cheapskate, though.
If you're going to IMAX or D-Box,
Okay.
it jumps up dramatically, and they're trying to play these kinds of movies in those situations, right? So you can do that, or you can do. I mean, and I still go to the movies, but I bought a 4K projector and a 120-inch
I love when he
screen.
talks about this. Don't you love this?
and stereo and theater quality speakers, so that I have a movie cinema in my house.
So when you watch this film, you're getting it in that experience.
Absolutely. And sometimes you.
He doesn't invite me to his house. I thought we were friends.
You don't watch movies.
Oh, good
I
point.
would maybe. No, I probably wouldn't, but a good one. Well, this Max. I'm not going to kiss your ass to win your awards, but this is the God's honest truth. I've known you 25, maybe longer, maybe 30 years. I've known you, but I've known you as the movie queen since I was on WBAL as the music critic guy in the early. When did you start at BAL? 90 something?
Yeah, I'm going to say like 92 or something. Yeah.
So I was on with Dave Durian.
Dave Durian,
in
the late great.
Dave.
Yeah, we love Dave.
91, 92. I was the person that they reached to about the Rolling Stones concert last night to come on for 2 minutes and just do a little tap dance because I was the Evening Sun music critic. So I've known of you that long. As long as I've known you, I've never been a movie person, but there's never, ever been a time where I've gone to a movie, and that speaks – I can tell you the movies you've sent me to, year after year, because I'll go to one movie a year, and I would call you. Back in the days, I'd call you and say, what's the movie? And she would give me a 2-minute review and say, go see Snatch. You would tell me to go see a movie, right? And I would go see the movie. That's how much I respected your movie thing. So, like, to learn about this as a guy who doesn't go, I'm sort of blown away as to where, because you're saying they don't know what they're doing. Baseball doesn't know what it's doing either.
Right.
I'm on that. Baseball hasn't figured this out. I thought the movie people would be sharper than this.
Well, Barbenheimer happened last year, and, they just take all the wrong lessons away from it. Like, apparently they're coming up with Barbie 2. No, we don't want Barbie 2.
No.
It wasn't Barbie. It was that film. It was the creativity and the originality
Greta Gerwig.
and the intelligence of that film that people loved. And, the big stars, Ryan Gosling, Margot Robbie, but it was the ingenuity behind that film. Then you take Oppenheimer. First of all, that was just lightning in a bottle that these two diametrically different films open on the same day. But, now it's like, are we going to start seeing films about, like, other, physics, like Albert Einstein and
We're gonna
stuff?
get Rice Krispies and Tetris and
Right, yeah. So they just, instead of understanding that when people go to the movies, it's because they're enjoying the quality of these films, they try to repeat the formula over and over and over again, or sequel after sequel after sequel, or using, intellectual property like Marvel stuff and DC Comics over and over and over, whereas like Everything Everywhere All at Once, that had sort of like a comic book feel to it, but it was so fresh and original, it broke through. So it's like if you keep trying to repeat what you've done, you're going to fail. If you see that the things that break through are the ones that are fresh and original and creative, that's how you're going to sustain the movie industry.
Well, I mean, Netflix changed so many things, right? I mean, Netflix, as opposed to Blockbuster, where you had to go out and you'd find the movies.
Did Netflix make you build that studio in your house, or were you on the road to that anyway?
COVID made me build that.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
But I mean, I'm still wearing my mask in many situations. So I mean, I take it a little more a little more intensely than other people do. But it also it's just, if you want to go to the Orioles 3 or 4 times a year, and I try to go more than that, plus the movies, plus the theater. I mean, I'm sort of involved in all of these things to one degree or another. I know how much it costs, and you need to consider where you're gonna make things work efficiently for yourself, right? Plus, I really enjoy the experience. So I
like movies enough that I would watch a movie. I can't stand being in a movie theater where I can't stop it. I can't go to the bathroom. I pee during. People talk. People drop things. The phone goes. I hate. I get with concerts. Rude people at concerts have really diminished my enthusiasm about concerts.
Yeah. I love going to the movies for the very reason that you mentioned, because when I'm home, I can't help it. I'm going to pause the film. I'm going to look at my phone. I'm going to go raid the refrigerator for snacks. I like being immersed
isolated,
in darkness, being focused, being sort of almost forced to focus. That's what I love. Now, when you're with people who are obnoxious and looking on their phones and coming late and talking. That ruins it. But, when I go to the movies, I tend to go at like off times. Like I'll specifically choose like a Tuesday matinee instead of a Saturday night. I try to.
So you don't experience full movie houses much?
Not that often,
right.
No.
Okay.
Sometimes with the screenings they give to critics, they're also open to the general public, and those can be pretty filled. But those tend to be people who love movies because they're coming to
There's
an early.
enthusiasm, yeah.
But there's nothing that can replicate that experience of like that suspension, that moment when the lights go out and the film comes on and you just don't know what your experience is going to be like for the next 2 hours. And you can't just like say, I've got to go do my laundry or something. You're locked in. And I think as our attention spans are so scattered right now, there is something really to be said for the beauty of like sitting in the dark and just focusing on these moving pictures. So I'm always going to love the theatrical experience. But, I mean, Alan thinks it's about the money. I think it's partly the money. It's also just the convenience of so many films are on streaming right now. So many films are on Prime or Netflix. And these films that come out in the theater, all you have to do now is wait a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And they're going to be on your home television set. So what's the incentive? Unless you're a cinephile who just really treasures.
And spends a lot of money doing it.
It's expensive,
Yeah.
and you have to treasure the experience. But if you don't, it's like, oh, why should I go see that? It's going to be on my TV screen in 3 weeks.
I went to see The Fall Guy the second weekend. First weekend was considered a huge disappointment. I liked it. It's a fun film.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'm old enough that I remember Lee Majors in the show that I'm sure no one who's 20 years old even knows existed, but I was waiting for them. I was like, if they don't do an update on the theme song, I'm going to be mad because I've never spent much time in school, but I've taught ladies plenty. Like, I know that song is baked in my brain, right? I was in the movie theater with maybe 4 or 5 people. It was fun. And I was just curious. It was a Saturday night after a show, when it at 11, a midnight show. The next Tuesday, I checked on demand. It was there. I was like, it's been out for 11 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
How many movies come out a year that you want to see, Max, and how many do you see? And then to Alan. But first with you, how many movies a year? Because there's 0 for me that I feel like I have to see ever. Until you tell me, or if both of you tell me to see a movie, that'll be the next movie I see.
Here's my thing.
Literally.
I follow a lot of film critics on Twitter. I mean, now X, but it's the same thing. And it's called Film Twitter. And a lot of these people, they're full-time film critics. As opposed to me, it's my, second job.
You have a gig.
I have a full-time job running the magazine. So they go to the Cannes Film Festival. They go to the Sundance Film Festival, the Telluride, the Toronto. And
you've never been to any of those?
No, I have.
You have? I thought you had.
I have,
good.
but
Right.
I
next
don't.
time we get together,
I don't get to go every year, but Telluride it's heaven on earth as far as I'm concerned. But and they're coming back with reports about these films, and I get so excited about the films, and then I also get kind of jealous because they've seen it and I haven't seen it. So I anticipate films quite a lot, based on reports coming out of Cannes, based on reports coming out of...
And if they all say it stinks, do you see it anyway?
No, not as much. Like, if something has been absolutely critically lambasted, I tend to not see it now because I don't have a regular movie review gig the way I used to. I can
you don't have to watch bad stuff.
I pick and choose, which is not to say everything that I watch is good, but I am my own editor. I assign myself.
I do
basically.
that with sports.
Right. So I don't assign myself to the films that I think I'm not going to like. Not to say that I'm not capable of liking a film that other critics hate, or vice versa, of hating a film that other critics really love. That certainly does happen. But you kind of have a hunch about a film. So yeah.
I just what gives you 2 hours. What inspire? What's the delineation point of what you have to see and what you want to see and what you'll shelve and see later and probably you'll never see? Like books. I got books I think I'm going to read. I ain't going to read them.
Back when I was reviewing films every single week on WBAL TV, WBAL Radio. Sorry to plug a competitor.
Hi, Dan. Go ahead.
But I would have to go see the 20th Marvel film that was released.
And you're not doing that.
I mean, I had to just drag myself to those things. I'm not the target audience, And
it'd be like if I were a music critic and I had to go do country. It just wouldn't.
Right, exactly.
I don't want to spend the evening with Kenny Chesney.
I appreciate
no
the fact that I don't have to go see everything now.
Right.
I can pick and choose and curate
Best
my
movie
own.
lately. Give me a movie.
Well, I loved Hitman, which is
Okay.
on Netflix, and I love Challengers, the tennis, the Luca Guadagnino Zendaya tennis film. Wonderful, about like a love triangle if you love tennis. It was kind of sexy. Zendaya's a star.
It's a sports movie, but it's not really.
Tennis has never been shot more. I mean, we could talk about tennis, by the way, one day. That's like one of my other favorite sports.
I've been to the French Open. I've been to the U.S. Open.
Really?
Yeah, of
okay.
course.
My sister goes to the U.S. Open every year.
Yeah, I love tennis. It's probably it might be my...
Tennis is one of those closet fan things. Like, I know a bunch of people love
Yeah,
tennis.
yeah.
They don't ever talk to me about it, but I know they're watching it. And they don't talk to anybody about it.
They don't talk to
That's
anybody
part of being tennis. You just
You know,
watch it. You don't talk about watching tennis.
We work from home. We have a shared office space that we use for meetings. But basically, I spend my day in my kitchen in front of my computer, and I have the TV on in the background. And a lot of times I'll have the tennis channel on because there's just almost always tennis action happening. So I like no obscure players at this point. Like I have
such unique friends. I really do. I have a wild mix. So Hitman, anything else? Give me one
Yeah,
more.
the Challengers,
Challenger.
Hitman. I thought Furiosa was excellent, although, only if you like action films, only if you like George Miller films, if you've liked the other Mad Max, then it's fantastic. As I've said, it didn't pass the Susan Weiss test, Susan Weiss being my mother. Like, your mom who doesn't like action films is not going to like this film, but your buddy who loves action films, heck yes.
In D-Box. Alan, you got a film?
Dune Part 2 is the best movie I've seen this year. Challengers is amazing. Hitman is really good. Parroting Max. I would tell everyone to go find Origin. It's a movie that is enlightening and worth your time.
You are not selling it, Alan.
I know. I'm trying not to
gifted
make
it to you and doesn't want you to watch it.
I'm trying not to make it more.
Not enlightening.
It's like, it's a party film. It's not. I mean, that's not what it is.
No, I know. Of course.
Yeah, I mean, we're just entering the Planet of the Apes. The most recent Planet of the Apes film I thought was pretty good. I mean, just the technology that they do to put that together is really amazing.
Yeah,
I remember the
see
original
that.
Planet of the
Yeah,
Apes.
me too.
So yeah, I mean, you know me.
Charlton Heston.
It was realistic to me then.
I see.
So are the flying monkeys in Wizard of Oz.
So grim.
I don't know how many movies I see a year, but I go out of my way. No, I don't want to see everything. But I know I have a sense of what I like. As we get into awards time, I want to see everything that's going to be relevant. I don't just see blockbusters. I love small independent films. How to Blow Up a Pipeline from last year that nobody saw was really fascinating movie. Past Lives was wonderful. Again, not a let's jump up and down and watch this movie kind of thing, but
I love Past Lives.
There are small films out there that showing up. I mean, there are all kinds of films out there that you just independent filmmakers doing really smart, interesting stories that have nothing to do with superheroes and capes.
We'll do Morgan Spurlock on the next one. How about that? We'll do. Alan McCallum is here. Max Weiss is here. Baltimore Magazine is there. It's at your checkout. It's everywhere Max is on social media. Alan's down running Symphony things. Let's see, man. We've done Symphony, Star Wars, Orioles, movies, crab cakes.
I think we covered it.
Whew, we had a good one here.
Yeah.
It was juicy. And I love bringing people together, and I guess the background of baseball and symphony and your music and your movies, it's nice that creating friendships here.
As I think I should say to Alan, did we just become best friends?
Well, that would make this the podcast of the year, wouldn't it? It would make us best of, maybe. Go.
Too much.
Seriously. That's it. I wouldn't know what to do with the awards. I don't have enough room on the walls.
Oh, my God.
I am Nestor. We are WNST. Damien Adarity's here. We're at Coco's Pub. We're in Laurelville. Marcella's here. I got coconut shrimp in me. I got a Greek salad in me. I'm taking a crab cake home to my broken-ankled wife. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. We have the Gold Rush Doubler 7s. I have to learn to say that. Gold Rush Doubler 7s, where the top prize is $10,000. I'll be giving these away. On Friday at Cooper's North, we'll be at Costas next Thursday. We will be at Pappas on the 25th. Back for more, courtesy of Liberty Pure Solutions and our friends at Jiffy Lube Live. We're at Coco's.